Evening, y'all. Chief Prepper here. Tomorrow morning, I'm not going to do the charity walk that I was planning on doing. I'm still in recovery, but my wife is. She's going to be supporting Carry the Load, the West Coast leg here in San Antonio tomorrow. So I've been thinking about this video for a couple days. I'm almost certain that stress, at least in my life, is manifesting an emotional outburst, not in a yelling, screaming, fighting way, but when I'm watching TV shows that I really like, and something really cool or joyous happens, it makes me so happy I want to cry, which typically doesn't happen. I'm a pretty strong guy when it comes to stress. I've been under enormous stress, and these days it seems like the more I listen to YouTube, the worse the fucking news gets. I want to say his name is Chris. He's got glasses. I think he's in California, talking about why bother, and listen to Canadian Pepper about how he doesn't think he'll survive during a true shit hits the fan event or nuclear whatever. And can't remember if I've said this before. You need to prep for emergency events. But I don't believe that unless you can immediately pivot to homesteading where you're processing and producing everything yourself, I just don't see people surviving, at least not very well. Certainly not in the city. So that kind of makes shit depressing, like really depressing. I mean, because I'm going to start something today. I'm going to start writing down what I'm eating. I'm going to do it for a month. And then you kind of got to be able to look at that and go, how much of that can you reproduce to continue the same diet? Pinball did a video about this, about how much your diet is going to change, and he alluded to the fact that there's so much that we consume that we do not produce. So, and there's other people who've done videos about, if you got chickens and you got eggs, you got plenty of protein. But you get too much protein, then you get a different sickness. So I'm not going to discourage anybody from prepping for shit hits the fan. I just think that it might be something that I don't know that we'll survive it. There's evidence that we will, but I mean, we're much softer than our ancestors were. I mean, if you think about some of the beginnings of America, where people worked from sun up to sundown, literally. So that means in the summer you're working longer and it's hotter. In the winter time you're working less and it's colder. If you just think about being exposed to the weather 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for an entire year, during a rainstorm, it'd be pretty fucking awful. During the wintertime when it's cold, it would be fucking awful. And y'all really need to work on your food. So I'm going to do my journal, and I'll start talking about it every week so that people can get an idea. But you need to write down how much you eat every meal and what the different food groups are. Like tonight, me and my wife had burgers. So we had hamburger, beef, and we had hamburger buns, one each. And we had pickles. We had mustard and mayonnaise on mine. Dawn had ketchup and pickle relish. I had cheese, and we both had bacon. And then we had 2 potatoes that I peeled and cubed and put in the oven for about 35 minutes. So that was one meal. And out of all of that, we can produce the bread. So that's what I'm talking about. If you can't immediately pivot to homesteading, if you don't have a dairy cow, if you don't know how to make cheese, you're not getting any more milk, you're not getting any more dairy products. If you don't have a beef cow with a bull and a mama cow that can make babies, then you don't have a reoccurring source of beef, if you don't have pigs, you don't know how to butcher them and cure bacon and make bacon, then you're never going to have bacon again. So it is going to be enlightening, but it's also probably going to be depressing. So, because I think in the end, everything that's happening, if you can't affect or control your own food, then you're screwed. So, and you need to be conscious of that. It's okay to be screwed. It's okay to walk into that trap, but some people prefer not to know it's a trap, I guess. So, my eye is on the mend. I'm almost certain that the gas bubble is gone, but the eye is dry all the time. It bothers me, so I still have drops and ointment I put in it. But the doctor said once the bubble's gone, then I can stop with the face down, stop with the sleeping sitting up, and stop with this stupid green band I gotta wear. So, yeah. So start writing down all the food groups and how many portions that you eat in your household every meal, even if you eat out, because you're going to need to know that in order to start planning and replicating it. Those of us who are preppers, will last longer than everyone else. Someone doesn't take us out, because people know if you got a channel that you're a prepper, they may or may not be able to find you, but that's the thing. So we're only as good as our supplies last. So, and if I watched about 2 minutes of Alaska Preppers video about the incoming food apocalypse, about the wheat that's being left in the field and it's going to die, which is a big deal. And then if we have the same experience with corn crops, then basically your cookies, your crackers, your bread, your noodles, and all kinds of other things are going to dry up and not be available. So at least it won't be available to the masses. And then if you listen to Pinball, who's talking about the slavery reparations, if that ever fucking takes off, then that's a guaranteed nation killer. Only the uber rich will be able to afford to buy anything to eat. Keep your eye on stuff. Shit changes every day almost. Information is knowledge and power. Chief Prepper, out.